for more on the markets and the impact of geopolitical turmoil. I'm joined by Vidak Radonjic, the managing partner at Beryl Consulting Group. Vidak, good to see you. A lot of us are surprised about the markets and how they've responded, what seemingly is very positive to some awful global events.
Yeah, we had an awful, horrible event on Friday, and at 4:30 actually, when I was watching at my screens, I saw a spike in VIX, which is VXX, and basically based on that, I thought the market might actually react negatively like it always does. But we had 2 days between Friday evening and then Monday morning opening, so I guess investors are muted to these reactions because all these sell-offs are very short-lived, and we are living in such an extremely fast-paced environment these days, especially in the stock market, and things just reverse in minutes, and that's actually what happened on Monday.
I've heard some people tell me that all these issues around the world might lead the Fed to possibly hold off, and that's what's giving perhaps the markets a bit of a stimulus to move forward. Do you think that's likely?
Yeah, I mean, there's many reasons that the market rallied 3%. First of all, France especially was not affected badly. France sold off and then actually ended up a little bit lower. Next day, all the bourses around the world, Asia, Europe, they all rallied. To go to your question, central bank is actually the one that all the investors are counting for, and central bankers have not disappointed as far today. So that's why we have this, I would say, rallied central banks, the muted reaction to the market. Draghi coming up with his promises that he's going to expand QE in Europe. We have Fed minutes. That was also very favorable to the market. And we had also good earnings in retails. Last week we had very bad earnings in retails. This week we had good earnings. So lots of things happen, and as a result we're up 2-3%. And this is actually the strongest week this year. One thing, up 3.5%.
One thing that is quite surprising, you look at where the price of oil is right now, roughly $40 a barrel. And whenever you have conflict, especially in the Middle East, usually oil prices shoot up. That really has not occurred, and I'm wondering what's happening there.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Gold goes up, silver goes up, precious metals go up. Oil is the first one to go up. It actually went to 42, then it went back. What's happening is the same thing with the stocks. It looks like, if you look back to August, one of the reasons that market sold off is because oil was hitting 40. So that means there is no growth in the world. Last week, oil was also, oil had a tremendous fall last week, and that's why we also sold off. So given that logic, we should have not had a good week this week because oil is still going down. So the market is very irrational. It's very hard to figure it out.
So let's have a little fun here. Let's try to help our friends here in the studio make some money. So if I give you $100, where do we put that money? How are we going to make money between now and the end of the year, or even into early next year?
Well, given the fact that the market rallied 3%, it's very hard for me to tell you that because people always like to be long. I would have told you, if you asked me just yesterday, when VIX was still around 18, 19, that the good trade would be to go short VIX. In other words, I'm sure that VIX will be going down. However, this week, VIX, which is fear index, from Monday, which was around 20, it went down to 15, 16 with 20% drop. So that trade is no longer good. Where can people put money towards the end of the year? Maybe banking sector, financial sector, because there is an increasing stance that the Federal Reserve Bank will increase the rates, and that's good for the financial sector.
Do you think the markets are dumb? I mean, we've got all these problems around the world. As you mentioned, retail sales weren't good. China's slowing. Europe's a mess. The Middle East is a mess. I mean, I don't see any part of the world that's actually doing wonderful and fantastic. Yet, look at what the Dow and the S&P are doing. They're almost near all-time highs. Something doesn't add up.
not really doesn't add up. The most brilliant people, the most brilliant traders are having difficulties this year. This year has been full of landmines. For those so-called stock pickers, this has been really, really bad year. If you look at NASDAQ, the reason, or top 100 stocks in NASDAQ, or so-called QQQ, Q100, the reason that it's up 10%, which is amazing because the markets are flat or negative, is because of two stocks, Google and Amazon. So that's it. Everything else is down.